daily life as spiritual practice. And a key concept I wanted to introduce today, which of course I've talked about before, but is the idea that once we recognize our true relationship with power, once we recognize that we are being used by this power for its purpose, that we no longer have to seek certain conditions. We don't need to seek ways to be empowered or affirmed. This comes to us internally from our relationship with the unmanifested, with the timeless realm. And we recognize again this idea that the universe is always conspiring for not our best interest personally, but its best interest. So the efforts that we take to strengthen our position, strengthen our cause, this is why I reflect back to the Tao Te Ching so much. If you believe that you need to seek something that will make you stronger or improve your position, then you're actually weakening yourself. It's an affirmation that by seeking something, you're essentially affirming that you do not already have it. So the key concept here is to recognize that we already have all the essential ingredients. We were more or less given at birth, and our life experience has helped refine these qualities so that we could use or be used these qualities for our highest function. Okay, and I've made reference a lot in past videos. You can always go back and look at the transcripts from the earlier videos where I've talked about this whole evolution of consciousness, but this Carl Fried Graf Durkheim, the one who really informed Eckhart Tolle, very, very important, very clear writing, and I'll offer quotes from time to time from his writing. He passed in the early 1990s, but essentially his message was carried on by Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now, specifically related to our function as a portal, a conduit, a bridge between the unmanifested, the space-time, or the timeless realm, and the space-time world. We are literally to be a bridge between heaven and earth. And how we do that, again, is simply expressing via our acceptance, our appreciation, and our enthusiasm what comes out of this relationship. Okay, it's not conditional on elements of our world. Actually, our world is conditional on elements of our consciousness. Okay, so seek not to change the world, seek to change your mind about the world. If you gain this consciousness that you literally you are given each day, you are given all of the power, all of the tools that are necessary, then simply our function is to show up, pay attention, be honest, just express from this place of confidence, of conviction that we are these emissaries of light. We know this light, we know this power, and we find ways via our creativity to express it. Okay, one of the things that came to me early in life when I was, I think, 21, I sort of officially started my journal, and I was an avid writer via my journal for many years. And then I think I was 28, when I wrote my first book, a very ponderous book, I wrote another very ponderous book at the age of 40. My writing became more refined, and the books that I eventually were writing were more, this size. Like that card's The Power of Now, much shorter, much more precise, without all the necessary fluff. Okay, again, the message is so simple and so clear that we might endlessly express it, as I do. Again, part of our function is to have this be the focus of our daily practice, that we are expressing in some way, sharing with our world in some way, evidence of our relationship with reality, with the divine reality, with the energetic principle of the universe. Our job is to show evidence of that. And the evidence could be as simple as being happy. The idea that you have an innate gift should manifest itself in your happiness each and every day. There'd be no reason to be depressed, no reason to feel anxious. These conditions, these mental conditions, have evidence of not being sort of in the present, powerful now, but being somehow still mentally stuck to the past or stuck to some idea of the future. This is again that conscious dying that eliminates the influence of the past or the influence of the future, both of which do not exist, on our mental condition. Because our mental condition, if we allow it to be so, is purely in the present moment, where we recognize and we receive and we express what comes of this relationship we have with the timeless realm, with heaven, that we are literally emissaries of heaven, the unmanifested, that we are being simply used in a beautiful way. It's effortless, smooth delivery, powerful, because we're not doing it. It's doing it through us. It's using us as its conduit, as a spokesperson. Okay, so we're literally talking for God, right? We are literally translating the message from reality. And one thing that when you're delivering a message from reality is that what you are delivering is always true. Your mental condition might influence that transmission of truth, right? I mean, you could put on it certain Christian labels or Buddhist labels or whatever. I use Taoist labels. But we realize as we're making a delivery that those labels are not really that important. They're evidence of structures that don't really hold great power or meaning. Okay, the power or meaning is in the essence of the talk. And that's why as part of your research, if you're seeing truth as expressed by some other spokesperson, depending on his or her inclination, it might have a different slant, a different color. Okay, like colors of the rainbow. You might say, we have 7 dominant languages, 7 dominant religions. These are the colors of the rainbow. But all of the colors of the rainbow should be a reflection of the light, the unified white light from which these refractions come. And that's what its purpose is, not to look pretty, not to take a certain form. Doesn't matter whether it's a blade of grass or a bushy plant or a tall tree. They're all doing the same thing. They're creating oxygen, water, and food for other life forms to exist. Okay, so at another level, just another spiritual, different dimension, we are called to do exactly the same thing. It's a very simple function. Everybody can do it. If anybody, this is why I think in the very near future, there's going to be this very beautiful download, which I hope, and I shouldn't say I hope, I know I'm a part of this download, where this expression of truth becomes crystal clear to everybody who remain on the planet. And everybody basically aligns with this idea that, oh, wow, life is really meant to be simple, happy. Everyone giving their highest expression for the simple sake of giving that expression, because that is our happiness. There's no, I'm not giving my creativity to earn money, or giving my creativity to take care of my family, or giving my creativity, it might be that as a person, as a body, I'm also accomplishing those things. But if the creativity is in itself the point, then the other things are just taken care of. This is literally what we've been taught by this powerful principle, is that if we mind our function and that only, if that's what we mind, if that's what we're consciously doing for that purpose, okay, for the purpose, because that's what we are created to do, is to be these points of light, these transmission. Again, the body and the person is simply a communication device. So my ability to write, my ability to speak clearly, to explain to you, to explain to others, that's my function. The other things, what I do in my daily life, chop wood, carry water, that's useful, it's meaningful to keep my body and my family's bodies supported, but only really for this purpose. If there wasn't this purpose for me in having a body, then the rest of it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't really work. And this is where humans have struggled for the longest time, because since our evolution as a species, most people have been very confused about reality, what's their function, and all that. A few people have been clearly enlightened in that regard, and then there's all the confusion about making them special and all the religions and things like that are founded. It's simply, again, is an evolutionary process. In the future, everyone will understand, wait a minute, we all have this, we all get this, it's all common knowledge.